Italians and car racing. It's a passion hardly rivaled by other cultures. At the center of this love affair is Monza. As one of the oldest motor racing circuits in the world, the history of this track instills a sense of awe. But none of our drivers will have time to sit and admire the scenery while they fly down these straights at over 200 miles an hour. It isn't called the Temple of Speed for nothing. And you'll get to see exactly why as we get ready to watch round 9 of the iRacing Grand Prix Series. And you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Sean Ambrose. Behind the scenes is our director, the Dr. Amjad Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Sean, any F1 fan ought to know about Monza by now, but for our newcomers, why don't you tell us about this legendary circuit?
Welcome to Autodromo Nazionale Monza. Just located here in Monza, just north of Milan, Italy, Joe. They built it in 1922 and at the time was the world's third purpose-built racetrack after Brooklands, Surrey, England, and Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now, the track's proximity to the Ferrari headquarters in Maranello makes Monza the unchallenged home of the Italian Grand Prix, being held here every year except one. Over the years, the track has gone through a lot of layout changes, including the 1954 construction of the High Bank Oval. We won't worry about that today, as we'll be on the familiar 5.8 kilometer, 3.6 mile, 11-turn layout race fans have come to know and love with all three of these chicanes in place today. But the best way to get an idea of what this place is really like is to jump on board and take a wrap around Autodromo Nazionale Monza for a GSRC lap guide.
All right, we've got Harrison Finch in the GSRC McLaren, so let's do a lap around Monza. Coming down to the Rettifiello, watch out for this chicane on the first lap. The way the track narrows down and how tight it is, it's notorious for first lap pileups. But it will be one of your best places for a pass during the lap, so drivers who figured out just how late they can brake are likely to get a few spots. From there, you'll hug the inside through Curva Grande, but keep your head on a swivel. If your opponent is close, this is a long enough run that they'll probably catch your slipstream and could take a look at an overtake into Della Roggia. This second chicane is a bit more open, but the gravel trap is just waiting to the outside of the exit to punish the greedy. There's a short burst up to the first Lesmo, but avoid the temptation to turn in too early. Before you know it, you're into the second Lesmo, which is the more important of the two. Messing up your exit out of here will put you at a severe disadvantage with the long run down to Ascari. Plus, this is where they've put one of the DRS zones, making attempts at an overtake even more likely. Now, Ascari is very different from the other two chicanes, with it being more open, faster, and having 3 apexes instead of 2. Make sure to use the extra pavement on the exit because it's fair game. This takes us onto the run to Parabolica. Despite this being a hairpin, it's deceptively quick in a Formula 1 car. You'll brake super late into here, and then it's going to open up on the exit with a very wide radius. To top it off, it brings you back onto the front stretch where you'll find the other DRS zone. But if you kept it all together, wave to the Tifosi because you've now finished a lap around Monza.
And there you can see a lap around this beautiful park circuit. Now, as we wait for qualifying to get underway here, why don't we take a glance at the points championship? Getting very close to the end of the season now, and things are starting to stretch between our drivers. Tommy Osgaard, 112 points away from Montañez, but with 4 rounds left, including today, he's got plenty of time to try and gain on him. No changes all throughout the top 5. Finch still in 3rd, Domingo 4th, and Calistani in 5th. Now, we might have viewers who have not seen an iRacing Grand Prix Series race before. It differs a little bit from the real world, Sean, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what our viewers are up for?
Sure, Joe, let's look at those details now. Of course, it is round 9 of 12. Just a few races left after today. We are in the McLaren MP4-30. Beautiful Formula 1 car from just a few years ago, and the setups are open. And, well, what exactly does that mean? Well, the drivers are in complete control of the setup and the car during the race to deploy their energy systems, their DRS systems, and it's a very technical car, so having an open setup actually benefits the driver here, Joe.
Certainly does. Now, You can see that our drivers are currently out on track. A bit of a small field today because we did have a split at 25 cars, so we're going to have 13 here in the top split. But still, this is the best of the best that we're going to be watching. So it should give us an interesting time, especially with, as you mentioned, Sean, they've got DRS out there, and these are some long straights. So we've seen in the real world it can be pretty powerful. I expect we should see some intense battles out there.
Yeah, Joe, I'm certainly expecting that. I'm seeing who we've got in here for today's race, and my head is spinning right now. It's a very, very let's just say you had to have a pretty stiff I rating to get into strength of field right now. That's 49.40 with three pro drivers in here. Yeah, Joe, this is going to be quite a race. And the DRS zones, like you said, they're long. And the power of these machines, I think we're going to see a lot of jockeying for position in these long straights today.
Got some names that we've seen up at the front and attempting to win races or being close to winning races. Pev is here. Osgard is here. Germanton, Preston, Harrison Finch is out here, or Roscoe. So definitely, as you said, a very steep field. There's Finch out there in that positive team sport machine. Still waiting for some times to crop up on our timing screen here in qualifying. They do get 2 laps. Now, there have been times in the past where those 2 laps are pretty much won because of the energy recovery system that they have to work. And Harrison Finch is the first one with a time on the board. He has won a race this season at Spa, another similar track to this one, very fast. He's beaten out by Riley Preston for provisional pole. So right on board with Osgard. Won multiple races this season. Let's see what he can do as he comes up to the Parabolica. Around that final corner. Oh, and he's going to abandon the lap. Interesting. So he wasn't happy with that one, Sean.
No, apparently not, Joe. And he bails out of that one. Here comes Ricardo Orozco. Okay, he's just getting out here on this lap here. Rasmussen, though, coming around.
His first timed lap, and it's only good enough for 6. Not what we're used to seeing from Nicholas. A little bit farther back, Benjamin Lindsay is coming up towards the Parabolica to get his first timed lap. And he's way wide. I think he managed to stay on the track without getting a 1X through there. We'll see when we come across the line here. Timing line is early on the straight. And the answer is no, does not get a lap.
Parabolica, so tough in any car, Joe, to keep it from running off track there when you're pushing, trying to dig for your fastest time. Preston right now, the only one with a 122. He sits at the top still.
In fact, only half the field has a time yet. We're on board with Evan Lathoris. Now we switch to Ollie Cuoca here, yet to get his first time in. Does not set has not even taken his first timed lap and missed it yet. This is his first lap to make an attempt here. So he works his way towards Ascari. This one can catch you out, especially on the exit here. But he is clean, heading towards the Parabolica. Cuoca having had a bit of an up and down season here in the iRacing Grand Prix Series, at least on the broadcast races. As he comes out of that final corner, let's see what he gets as he crosses the line. And it's only good enough for 8th, the slowest time on the board so far for Ollie. Osgard coming around now. Is he on his warm-up lap, though, here? Or is this a timed lap?
Well, he's already got 1 lap in the books, but he didn't register a time.
Oh, that's right. So...
yeah.
I think this is his hot lap as he comes through the second Lesmo. He seems to be really working the car, taking every inch of track he can. Now, one thing we haven't looked at yet is the weather, and that can definitely affect the setup of these cars. You can see 111 degrees with it being clear out there. It is going to be slippery, Sean.
Yeah, it really is, Joe. And if you were thinking about maybe trying to get through this race without tires, I don't think that's going to happen today.
I would not want to be the driver to attempt that. All right, Oscar coming across the line. Can he get the pole? No, he cannot. In fact, he is only 8th. That was a horrible lap for Tommy.
Yeah, minimal, very minimal. 1:23.9.
All right, Oli Cuoca is coming back around to get his second lap. We'll go back to Orozco in a bit as he is behind Cuoca. And Cuoca is not on a good lap. Orozco behind him. Positive Sim Racing McLaren is going to come across, hopefully get a timed lap here. His first one did not count. Second one did, and it puts him on the front row. Nicely done.
Yeah, the Brazilian nails it there with a 1:23.1. Nothing like waiting until the last moment to put that in. How often do we see that in Formula One?
Oh, it's always exciting here in qualifying. Harrison Finch, we're watching. Rasmussen gets himself a little bit of a better time. He moves up to 10th on his second lap. Oh, and Finch is going to abandon his as he messed up. Riley Preston is on the pole, but he's coming around for his... Oh, no, he's just on warm-up at this point as he has taken 2 laps. And Rasmussen has taken his. So that is everybody. Let's go through the grid. Riley Preston takes the pole today. The black stripe driver has got it all cut out for him. Ricardo Orozco will be on the outside of the front row. Harrison Finch will start 30. Hasn't won since Spa, we should point out. Peo Pev starts in 4th. Matteo Calistani starts in 5th position. And then in 6th, Sean, it's going to be Evan Lathoris.
All right, let's go to row 4 where you'll see Bill Frazier, Kyle Germanton starting 8th. Row 5, Tommy Ostgaard and Nicholas Rasmussen. A couple guys that honestly probably would have liked to have had a better qualifying effort here today. Benjamin Lindsay will start 11th. Stefan Herman in 12th. And 13th, got to go to Oli Cuoca.
So 100% distance in this race today here in round 9 of the iRacing Grand Prix Series. And as we said, this is top split that you are watching with names like Preston, Orozco, Finch, Pev, Calistani, Lathoris out there. Should be a hotly contested win as we wait for the cars to grid up. Just a couple more to go. Peo Pev, the last one to come out, and he has gridded up. So the engines will start to rev as the lights come up. Green flag is out. And as they get off the line, our pole sitter has an awful start. Orozco is going to immediately shoot to the lead. Preston knows it. He settles in behind him. Harrison Finch takes a look around the outside, almost going 3 wide for second place. This first corner known for having some incidents as Nicholas Rasmussen gets tapped, but recollects it, and we're successfully through, Sean.
Yeah, a little bit of a tap there going through Retafilio. They got it sorted out. They went 3 wide into there, Joe, and it just never works. But everybody got it sorted out and got through.
A few more passes happening here in Della Rosia. Oh, and Kyle Germanton has more woes as he clatters over the curb. Now, he may have had a jump start. We saw a puff of smoke, but I couldn't quite tell if a car moved or not.
He actually was slow to the start, Joe. Germanton was. Cars diving out of the way to get around him.
Interesting stuff here as we watch one of our cars go to the inside. Not sure who that was. Tommy Osgaard making a challenge. I think that was Pev that he was looking to get inside of. Oh, and he's got a great run down to Parabolica. Defensive line from Pev. Osgaard late braking, but a little bit too late as he goes out into the AstroTurf. Has to come back, and Peo Pev will hold on to 4th for now.
Boy, Lathoris, Evan almost ran him over there, had to get on the binders. Now coming back around, though, Joe. Here we go. Oh, Tommy slips back in line.
Yeah, stalls out, or he lifts one or the other. He's going to stay back for now. Lathoris taking a look to the inside. Tries for a switch over. There's a little bit of contact. Lathoris with a better exit out of Retafilo. Now they come. Oh, they almost touch once again here into Curva Grande. They're going to go side by side, Sean.
Joe, this looks like a ticking time bomb right now.
Both these guys are fighting awful hard for the first couple laps of this full-length race. Oh, we got a car off in the gravel. That is Benjamin Lindsay, who loses multiple positions and slips down to 10th.
Yeah, he had picked up several on the start, and
that's going to deny him the opportunity, and poor Bill Frazier has to get out of it to not get into the gearbox of Benjamin.
I think there might have even been slight contact there. I think Frazier got a piece of him. Here comes Stefan Herman now trying to take over that spot from Frazier. That checkup cost him.
Haven't even really talked about Herman much yet this race, but not going to get the opportunity. Boy, things tight here in the back of the pack, and this is allowing Nicholas Rasmussen to start to pull a bit of a gap on these three. It'll certainly be useful here in the DRS zone. 2 DRS zones today, one here into Ascari and one up to Retafilo on the front stretch. Come out of that final chicane. Rasmussen might have cleared them a little bit, but not a whole lot. And the gap, in fact, is going to be less than a second when they get to the front stretch. So we should expect Lindsay to regain that ground here.
Yep, watching him now. That DRS sure to open. It's going to get a nice run. Oscar, our big mover of the race right now, Joe, up 4 spots, finds himself in that fifth place. He's chasing, trying to get another one here.
And he's going to get a wing full of DRS here as they come down to Ascari, but I think he's going to run out of straight as they get on the binders here for this left, right, left. If he could get himself a good run, maybe could get an opportunity into Parabolica, but no, they are about dead even. Ooh, look at him on the slipstream, though. He's starting to gain.
Yep.
Pev knows it. He stays defensive. This is going to be a very good opportunity for Tommy. He's going to get another bite from that DRS down the front stretch. Pev stays to the inside. Track narrows up as it comes down to the chicane here. And really nothing happening there. However, we might want to go up to the lead because Billy Preston very close now to Ricardo Orozco. Our pole sitter wants the lead back. Orozco goes what looks like to the outside, but it's going to be the inside here into the chicane. He's a little bit too far back. Riley Preston is going to make the pass.
That's my fault, Joe. I'm sorry.
Yes, you put it in my mind. It's not Billy Preston out there. That is Riley Preston. Wow, beautiful move from Riley, though.
Yeah, indeed.
What is Orozco going to do about that now? Is he going to try to go back on the attack? Harrison Finch not too far behind after that side-by-side battling they had.
I expect Orozco to stay on the attack for all of these 47 laps left when they come across the line. DRS to open now.
But they're not in the DRS zone.
I'm sorry,
quite yet. Oh, but it's side by side between Pev and Oscar. Oscar had another go at him. And he's going to get the DRS here on the front stretch. These two incredibly close. This is going to be the best opportunity for Tommy. Pev covers off the inside. Tommy swings to the outside. He's a little bit faster as now they get on the binders. Around the outside of the first apex, inside of the second apex. They're incredibly close.
Oh,
the wheel, they almost touch. The VRT machine's going to have the inside of the Curva Grande. Can Tommy bring it back to him? He's got better momentum here. Down into the braking, still side by side into De La Roja. Finally, Tommy's got it done. He had to work for that one.
Yes, he did, and Pev was just giving him nothing. Now Pev seems to struggle just a bit.
You said they actually made contact.
Yeah, they did.
Wheel to wheel, or did he actually get him in the side pod there?
I think it was wheel to side pod. It was wheel to side pod, but I'm not seeing any physical damage on either machine.
Thankfully, in iRacing, don't have to worry about flat tires from that kind of contact, but you can still get damage on the aero of the car, and these cars are known for being very sensitive to that. As we jump back up to second place, Orozco holding on 3/10 behind our leader, Preston.
Finch, though, in a good spot. He's under a second. He is in the DRS zone. Boy, but didn't seem to really catch him at all on that. And those two still going at it. Orozco took a look there, Joe, and then he backed out of it.
Yep. Meanwhile, a little bit farther down, remember we were watching that battle that we had for 8th position. Rasmussen has not been able to get away from these guys. Really, the harder fight is between Lindsay and Frazier for that P9. Work their way towards De La Roja. Lindsay safe for now, unless we see a wild dive. And no, it looks like Frazier's not going to have that for now.
Yeah, you know, Lindsay's got himself into the top 10. He wants to stay in the top 10. Frazier, on the other end of that, he has fallen back several spots since the start of the race, and he's just trying to get back and hold station. And man, Lindsay has a big moment there, Joe, getting out of turn 7.
Yeah, and Frazier is going to have the DRS. This is going to be his best chance. He doesn't go to the inside, though. Just going to stay behind him. Interesting. Would have thought for sure he'd have a go at him. Ooh, another bobble coming out of Ascari from Lindsay. He is struggling on those tires already, and we're only on lap 8. Once again, Frazier rocks up behind that gearbox, but once again, he stays right in the tire tracks. Lindsay going a little bit wide at the apex. Here comes Frazier. He's going to get both the DRS and the inside line. He's side by side as they come down the front stretch. This is what Frazier was waiting for. Like taking candy from a baby, he slots into 9th.
Boy, and look how much ground he made up on Rasmussen as well. But Rasmussen gets a great exit out of Retafilio.
Nicholas he's been on a great defensive drive here, just been fast exactly where he needs. Hey, you were wondering about Finch, Sean? Take a look at Orozco and Finch now.
Yeah.
Oh. There we see it on screen. He has rocked up to within half a second, and he is bringing Osgard along with him. This is about to get very interesting for second place.
Yeah, it is. You know, so far, Tommy's proved Tommy gets what Tommy wants. So watch out, Ricardo Orozco.
Down into Parabolica. 3 cars under a blanket. And Preston, honestly, isn't too far ahead. He's only 8/10, so Orozco is going to get the DRS himself. It's going to put these 3 pretty much at a stalemate as they run towards that first chicane. So don't think we'll see any attempts here, although Osgard very late on the brakes and gaining some ground. We should point out in this, Sean, the only one of our top 4 that does not have his pro license, Harrison Finch right now. What a job this guy's doing. Positive Team Sport continues to put great talent out there.
I think I've seen Finch drive enough at this point that I got to imagine he can't be too far from getting that black stripe one of these days.
That is one of his goals. He's told us that himself, that he wants to get up into the Pro Series. I think he's on his way, as you said.
One of Bill Zahn's favorite birds, the finch.
Yes, we've had the joy of watching Finch pretty much come up here in iRacing, going from the Formula Renault and being a mid-pack driver. Bill Zahn calling many a race in the AOR series, and then see him challenging for wins, now hopping up to a much more challenging car, and suddenly he is challenging for the top of the top here in iRacing. Boy, great run from Orozco this time. He has regained that ground on Preston. Not able to make an attack. Preston blinking a little bit on my screen.
Yeah, I have seen that too, Joe.
Oh, look at this. This is a great run. Sorry to interrupt, but coming out of Curva Grande, Orozco was within the slipstream. He ducked out a little bit too soon, though, and I don't think he's going to get a chance. Boy, he is starting to put the pressure on, though. What I thought was going to be a 3-car battle for second place has now turned in a 4-car fight for the lead. 13-car, schmerteen cars. We got a good race.
You know, just about a lap and a half ago, Kyle Germanton and Ollie Kwok at the back of the field, they were racing for that 12th spot, and Ollie had a little bit of a bobble. Lost a little bit of time to him.
Yeah, even fighting in the back of the pack.
No, they are. Yeah, remember, if you could remember, both of them having to go into the pits. Fraser
Rasmussen. Yep. You saw what I saw. Fraser finally got Nicholas to get himself up into P8. How about Bill? This is a driver who's been making steady progress as well in this series. Let's take a look at the replay of that pass. DRS assisted. Got a great run down to Ascari. Breezes by, has to seal the deal into Ascari, and does so nicely. Meanwhile, up at the lead, Orozco with another run, and he gets it done.
He does. Boy.
Did Finch get a slowdown penalty? He is way off the pace. Going back and checking. To see on my screen, I do not see a slowdown from him.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But we're going to check the replay. We'll see the pass for the lead. We will get a little bit of a glance here on screen. I didn't see it on mine. We'll see if the director saw something different. DRS once again coming into play. Orozco making great use of it and gets it done. Yeah, on there, Finch really doesn't look like he chopped the apex in the first corner. Oh, there we saw it just from above. He put his wheels into the grass, and that's what hurt him. We'll see it here.
Yep, and that'll do it.
Just, yeah, these cars incredibly powerful. You can spin the tires. Well, Riley Preston is not done yet. Here comes Tommy Osgaard coming all the way from 9th, looking to get himself into 2nd. DRS and a heavy dose of slipstream. He goes to the inside. Preston not even defending this time. Preston, is he going to go for first? All the way up there. Oh, and he slides into the leader. Orozco has to cut the course. So does Osgaard. Is Orozco going to be able to get in the lead? Yes, or Preston going to be able to get in the lead? Yes, he is. We're going to watch onboard Osgaard. Thought maybe a 2-4, but too much on the brakes. And watch Preston here. Says thank you 1 and thank you 2.
Boy, and Orozco, one of the big losers there. I mean, he clattered the car really hard over those curbs, Joe.
Really an innocent victim in that one.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, Preston thought he was losing the lead, and instead inherited back. Orozco has Osgaard all over him. And how about Harrison Finch? He gets promoted to 2nd after that mistake on the previous lap.
Finch is on the way. He's moving now.
What a wild battle for the lead we're seeing here. We're only on lap 13. We haven't even hit the pit stops yet.
Yeah, hard to believe we've got 40 to go in this one, the way they're fighting right now.
Finch maybe has visions of a win here. Hasn't seen a broadcast win since Spa, since he came from the very last position on the grid. He's got DRS. He's going for the lead. And as they break down for turn 1, but he outbrakes himself. He has to go over the curbs now. Preston is going to get it back a 2nd time. My goodness.
Harrison making a big mistake there.
Preston's sitting in that cockpit thinking, you guys just keep outbraking yourselves. I'll keep taking the lead back as much as you want.
And that must have been a big slowdown penalty there for Harrison, as he gives up the 2 more spots there to Ricardo and Tommy.
Roscoe back up into second position. I think Preston is smiling ear to ear in that cockpit right now. He's got a much bigger gap this time at 8:10, still not clear of the DRS. And behind these four, we've also got Peo Pev closing in, and even Matteo Calistani has got visual on our leader. He's only 5.5 seconds back.
Yeah, and you know, we haven't mentioned Matteo. We haven't talked about him at all, but quietly he's having a drive here through the field. Now he's down a spot, but Joe, he's back in attack mode now.
Ride on board with a positive team sport driver. On the front stretch, Orozco was a little bit under threat from Oscard, but he fended him off into Parabolica. And with his energy recovery system fully deployed, he's going to be safe on the front straight as well. It was a 4-car battle for the lead, and it's starting to develop into a 5-car battle with Pev closing in bit by bit. Right on board with Oscard. Decides not to go for it here into De La Roja. Oh, we've got our first taker in the pits, Bill Frazier. Is this scheduled, or did he have an incident?
Him and Nicholas Rasmussen both coming in, Joe.
I'm not seeing anything between them, so both on a similar strategy, and Rasmussen is going to come out right behind him.
Well, he'll still have a dance partner.
Absolutely. Now, Frazier came across the white line. I thought that you weren't allowed to do that. In the real world, he would definitely get a penalty. But
yeah, he might get nabbed for an unsafe exit there.
Yeah, I think
we'll
so.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure iRacing doesn't allow that. We'll find out soon. Oh, and we've got a pitter. Orozco, first of our leaders, trying to get out of this mess. What do you think, Sean? Good strategy call?
With the way today's race has been going, yeah, I think it's a great strategy call. I think it's staying out of the mess might be a good way to put yourself up near the podium.
And he's not the only one. Yeah, Australian Evan Lathoris is in as well. So, things getting interesting down on pit lane as Orozco is in and out. And obviously, he is the highest pitter. He returns in 8th position. Now, here's what's interesting about him pitting is this has changed the dynamic a little bit as Harrison Finch was over a second back from Oscard. He's got it within now just in time here into the DRS zone, so that will save him. But I thought for a little bit that was going to mean that potentially we had split apart our pack outside of DRS range. It could still. Finch is bobbling just around that 1 second mark. So do our leaders respond? We're waiting on board Preston. Preston does. Preston does it. Oscar does not. Interesting. Pev comes in.
Yep.
Any other takers?
Riley Preston right in front of him.
Just Preston and Pev for now. All right, where is Orozco? Coming around Parabolica. Will he jump Preston? That is the question. As we watch Orozco from the chopper cam, it's going to be very close. I think he's got him. Yes, he does. Preston only getting up to speed. Move Orozco up into the highest pitting car.
All right, well, Orozco does a good job there, Joe, with not only managing his pit stop, but getting back up to speed and in the groove real quick.
Sean, Peo Pev, remember, didn't he have contact in the very early laps?
Yes.
Well, I think that damage repair has bit him.
Yep, I'm seeing that too.
19-second pit. Oh.
Yeah, they obviously, it might have been wing damage that we just didn't see. Or that side pod being repaired, one or the other.
Regardless, this puts him all the way behind Evan Lathoris, 8th for now. I think that's going to be a net 6th, somewhere around the 7th, possibly. That's going to hurt. Osgaard is continuing on, though, interestingly. So is Finch and Calistani as well. In fact, the only other driver that is yet to pit is Benjamin Lindsay, sitting in 4th. Every other driver has taken at least one stop. Oh, and speaking of, Lindsay is coming in. So our podium sitters at the moment, the only drivers yet to take a pit stop. So with that lighter fuel and fresh tires, Orozco sets the fastest lap, trying to make good use of them. But Sean, is this what Bill likes to call a pay me now, pay me later with those tires?
Yeah, it is, Joe. And I'm sitting here thinking about that myself. But, you know, if Orozco's got a chance here, he's going to have to keep putting down a few fast laps here and hope to get in front of Osgaard, Finch, and Calistani significantly, so he can fend off their charge when they try to come back. You know, that last lap that he ran was the fastest of the race. First one to dip down into the 1:25, 1 minute and 25 seconds, Joe.
And I was curious if maybe we would see some drivers on a two-stop strategy, some of these guys who are pitting now. But I'm looking at the lap times, and they're not significantly slower from the start. So I don't know. What do you think, Sean? Is two-stop maybe viable for some of our earlier pitters?
Viable, yes. The smart strategy, maybe not. I don't know that two stops is really going to get you any closer to the podium. I really don't. In fact, I think that really lessens your chances. That tires just haven't seemed to be the real issue yet here, Joe. What we've seen is guys out braking themselves. Grip seems to be pretty good so far. Again, I think one stop is the way to go, and I think that's the key to victory.
And right now, Roscoe is about 1.5 seconds faster than our leader, Tommy Osgaard. Now, you might have seen on screen that Preston set the fastest lap last time by. So both Orozco and Preston trading fast laps out there. 25.6 for Preston. That is screaming on this fresh rubber.
Do we hear 24? We get 124.
I think someone will do it before all is said and done. Pit stops have really separated the field now. Everybody has got their own little piece of tarmac after a frantic first third of this race. With only 13 drivers, who would have thought we would have a 4-car fight for the lead? So let's run through our field as we wait for the rest of the pit stops to take place and update you on what's happening if you're just joining us. Tommy Osgaard started in 9th spot after a bad qualifying, has worked his way up to the lead. However, that is not a guaranteed lead. He has yet to make his pit stop, is apparently trying to split this one a little bit closer to halfway. Harrison Finch started on the second row, sitting in second right now, has looked at the lead, but his one attempt at a pass for P1 failed without breaking himself into Rettifilio. Matteo Calistani also yet to make his pit stop. The last of the cars yet to make his stop. Started in 5th, sits in 3rd right now, has been on a good run, has gotten himself within sight of the leaders before the pit stops. We'll see how that plays out once he gets his scheduled stop. Ricardo Orozco, first of our cars to actually have a stop under his belt, started in 2nd, but immediately off the line jumped Riley Preston, has been in a battle for the lead ever since, and he is currently looking good, potentially come out in the lead. And rounding out our top 5, Sean, is Riley Preston, our pole sitter, currently sitting in a potential net second, but 5th out on track.
All right, then we'll go back to 6th, and that's Evan Lathoris, actually holding station right now after his pit stop, and well, got Peo Pev in 7th, a full 6 seconds behind him. Both of, like I said, both these drivers have gotten pit stops in. Everybody at this point has gotten their stop in. Back in 8th, it's Bill Frazier, who right now is looking over his shoulder, and he finds Benjamin Lindsay lurking here, and Lindsay's starting to look a little racy here, up to 9th. And then it's Stefan Herman back there in 10th, and he's looking to try and make that a battle up there with Lindsay and Frazier. Now Rasmussen, Germanton, and Ollie Kolka complete the field 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Yeah, the closest battle right now is between Frazier and Lindsay. They've been at it for much of this race. Lindsay's not giving up, just barely within that DRS zone, trying to hold on to Bill. And as the laps tick away, Orozco is continuing to cut into our leader's gap in huge chunks, but again, he's pitted early. So even though he's fast now, our leaders could be much faster later on. So we continue to watch the fight between Lindsay and Frazier close in. It is now down to half a second.
Yeah, Lindsay's sure to get a run at him here as soon as the wing opens up.
Down the front stretch, not quite close enough. The wing is going to get him a little bit of time. Cuts it down to 0.3 of a second as they work their way through that first chicane. He loses those 0.3 and it's back up to 0.6 as they accelerate away through Curva Grande.
To keep looking back, thinking Stefan Herman's going to catch them.
Well, if they start fighting, he might, because it's 1.5 seconds between Lindsay and Herman.
He seems to be a little off on pace, though, Joe. Maybe about a half second.
Well, you talked about the iRating, the strength of fields in this race. I'm looking through the lowest iRating out here, Sean. Peo Pev at a 35.25. That's higher than my iRating, and he's the lowest one out here. That is just insane.
Yeah, there's a reason I'm in the booth. I'll never see those numbers up.
I was close at one time. I was in the mid 3000s at one point in my career. That was a long time ago, though. As we ride on board with Lindsay, getting close to Frazier, yet again a lot closer, and he's got the DRS looking around the outside, swings through, makes it look easy. Can he make the apex? Yes, he does. Gets on the brakes just in time, so move Benjamin Lindsay into P8.
That's a little bit of work getting that done.
Took him a long time coming, but he's not done yet because Frazier is staying within his slipstream. So these two will continue to fight. We're still not quite halfway. We're going to see that at about the middle of 26 laps out here. Pretty sure I got that right.
You're good, Joe.
Yes. It's dangerous when we do math here on the Global SimRacing Channel.
Remember, in the handbook there.
Don't do math on air.
All right, so your top the podium right now, your top three, Joe, seem to be leaning towards that. As we get a little deeper into the run here, they seem to be leaning to that halfway strategy. I don't think there's any doubt in what they're looking at right now. Everybody else has been out somewhere between about 6 and 8 laps now, back from when they took those last stops.
Well, here's where it gets interesting. Orozco is now 2.5 seconds within Matteo Calistani, who is the last of the drivers yet to pit.
Right.
So he's going to start overtaking cars, and that could help or hurt, depending on when he catches them, because The DRS is going to give him a little bit of a boost, but the wake could slow them down, depending on if Calistani fights him hard.
The other option is Calistani could decide to duck into the pits when he comes around here,
and that might not be determined by Roscoe catching him at all, because we are getting right within that that halfway mark here in just about a lap and a half's time. Roscoe is going to be maybe within the DRS. It was awful close.
Ooh.
You're going to see that flap open. I don't see it open. Just outside of it. But he did get the slipstream, and with those fresh tires, he is running up. And Preston, I think, may have gotten the DRS on Orozco. He is now within a second of our fourth place driver. Calistani's positive team sport car, a sitting duck into De La Roja. He doesn't fight it. Orozco takes P3 away.
Boy, and you talk about the pace of Riley Preston right now. He is laying down some bad fast laps, and this isn't going to end well for these guys still on track. They're sure to be gobbled up here on their pit stops.
But they're going to have 8 or 9 laps fresher rubber, and our leader's in. Osgard pitting. Does Finch pit? No, he does not. Finch is going to stay out one more lap.
Yep, so is Orozco.
Well, Orozco's already pitted.
No, I'm sorry. Finch. Finch is out. Who was it that came in? Oh, Tommy Osgard came in.
Yes,
there we go.
Osgard. So Calistani stays out. So Osgard is our only taker on this lap. He comes out, and there has been 10 laps put on the cars of Orozco and Preston. Osgard comes out in 5th, ahead of Lathoris. All right. So, Finch is yet to pit. Orozco, only 8 seconds behind him, will jump him, but is going to really have to manage his tires. And Sean, you were talking about the speed of Preston. Remember, he was on the pole. You have to think he's got to have that extra incentive of not wanting to be the fastest in qualifying and then lose the race.
Joe, you obviously have called the majority of these races this season. Is there any chance Finch just stays out there? He'll get swallowed up, right?
And he's coming in right now.
Yeah, so much for that great idea.
We've seen, just like in real life, there is a cliff on these tires that they go so far, and then suddenly they are absolute trash. And you really risk it when you go a no stopper or a one stopper on some of these races. So he is not willing to risk it today. He's going to come out, I'm going to guess, behind Lathoris. Yes, Lathoris already going by. And even Pev is going to get him.
Good stop by Finch. Calistani had come in behind him.
Calistani slipping down the order, way down the order, actually. It was a good stop. Wow. So Calistani really banking on these good tires, helping him. Should be pretty easy pickings with the cars ahead of him. Nicholas Rasmussen on 12-lap-old tires right now, but Calistani comes out in 11th. The stage is now set, Sean.
Yeah.
All drivers have taken their scheduled stop.
Yeah, I'd say the stage is pretty darn well set right now, like you just said. The problem is there just aren't a lot of guys left to be able to utilize these DRS zones. There's just the pit stops have kind of sorted things out. Now, Bill Frazier and Stefan Herman still battling further back in the field for 8th. And Stefan Herman, I got to be honest, Joe, he's having a pretty great drive. He's into the top 10 now. He's picked up 3 spots so far this race. He's one of those guys that came in earlier. He's been out for almost 11 laps now since his pit stop. He seems to be getting faster.
Up at the top of the screen, you saw the graphic. Oscar set the fastest lap of the race on those fresh tires. Now, here's the gap. Now, it is 9.3 seconds. I can say that it was about 10 seconds not long ago. So he is coming, and that's between him and the leader. There's Preston in there as well, as Oscar is in 3rd. He's got, let's see, what do we have here? I'm doing math again, Sean. How many laps do we have left?
We have about 25 and a half.
All right. So, now, he's not going to keep that pace throughout the whole thing. Oh, and Herman is going to get an opportunity as Bill Frazier has an off in the De La Rocha chicane. He cut it. He's going to have to serve a slowdown. Is this going to give Herman the chance? He's still behind him. Wow. Frazier must have done an amazing job at serving that penalty, because he did not let Herman by in that. Going to watch and see if Herman gets the pass, but even with the DRS, doesn't get it done into Ascari.
Yeah, Frazier does not look stable right now, though, and this could be a huge opportunity for Herman to pick up another spot.
He's going to get one more try on the DRS on the main straight. Look at him close in around Parabolica. As we ride on board with that Lotus liveried machine. I just realized that with the old camel on there. Goes around the outside. Can he get him under braking? Looks like Frazier's going to try and fight it. And fight it successfully. Wow.
Okay. Bill not willing to just move aside and let him go.
Don't have to go to it, but an update. Kalistani gets up into the top 10 as he overtook Rasmussen. That was easy pickings. Well, Sean, we wondered about that gap between our leaders. Oscar, 6.3 now. Last lap, another fastest lap from him, 25.1. Preston's last lap was a 26.9, almost 2 seconds faster. 27 flat that time from Preston. Oscar, a 24.9, another fastest lap from the Scandinavian. Meanwhile, Finch in a battle, a close battle here. This is with Pev. As they come up to Lathoris, they're going to get by Lathoris. This is for position. Oh, no! Pev goes off. Cuts the Retafilio chicane. Finch is cleanly through. Pev has got to serve this. He's trying to do so gradually. Well, when is he? This is the second time. Oh, and he's going to try and serve it in the braking zone. Here comes Finch. He is through. Finch at a 4th. Let's watch what happened to Peo Pev in all of this.
Yeah, he's going to come screaming down the straight here, Joe, and I think he just outbraked himself.
I was looking to both fend off Finch and get by Lathoris. And in all of that, was slightly past his braking zone. So we come back live. He sits in 5th now with older tires than Finch. But about the same as Lathoris. However, we saw Pev looking a little bit faster on pace. So while Oscar may have fresher tires and may be setting hot times right now, the thing that I'm wondering about, Sean, that if we can get a chance to actually talk about it with some of these battles, is Osgaard's tires will even out a little bit.
Frazier, I'm sorry, Joe. Frazier off the track at a parabolica. I don't think there was contact there.
No, that was driver error.
Yeah, I think he just lost it. He had a car snaps on him. We're going to see this on the replay. Looks like maybe a correction gone bad.
And at a horrible time as those tires are very close right there. We're going to watch on board Herman, and after all his fighting and thinking, I got to really work for this one, he gets handed it. So, move Herman up into 8th position. And poor Bill Frazier. Oh, and just as I say that, almost loses it as Calistani comes by in the first Lesmo. So, Herman back to 9th.
Poor Stefan. Take 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Here's the thing, though, Sean. Frazier is our first DNF of the day. 32 laps into this race. That's kind of impressive, honestly.
It is impressive, yeah. Listen, Monza can be a real... It can be a real beater. I mean, it can beat you up and suck you into thinking that you just go as fast as you want. And then the chicanes here level everything out. You can be real destroyers of the car, if you know what I mean. It's great. I'm glad that we still got practically the whole field still in this. And I feel bad for Bill. I feel like he could have made it with maybe just a little luck.
As we switch back to the Coanda SimSport car of Tommy Osgaard, now a 2.5 seconds back from Preston and 3 seconds back from our overall leader. This is looking pretty good for Osgaard at this point. So Orozco and Preston, again, if you're just joining us, tried the early pit strategy to see if it could get them away from the battling that was happening. But right now, it is looking like, oh, and Orozco pits. Orozco is going for a 2-stop strategy. Interesting.
Very. I'm a little stunned, actually.
So I wondered earlier if this is what we would see, and this could play into his hands. This could go against Tommy Osgaard here. We'll have to wait and see. We saw how quick Osgaard caught up to him, but the big difference here, Sean, is that there's only 7 laps difference between Osgaard and Orozco.
Well, Orozco gets out clean right in front of Benjamin Lindsay.
In 6th place as well. Now, Osgaard coming up on our leader. This is a pass for the lead on track. Ooh, Osgaard has a look with the DRS down into Ascari. Decides better of it. He knows he's got much better rubber underneath him. Oh, and a big bobble there from Riley Preston off the corner. Could he do it without the DRS? The Scandinavian looking around the outside into Parabolica, but he lifts a little early.
Boy, he had a run at him there, too. He's still got a run on him. Nice line out of Parabolica.
He wants to make this a slam dunk, Sean. And I think a slam dunk it is going to be as he goes to the inside, down the front stretch. And easy braking into the first corner. Move Tommy Osgaard back to the lead.
And Peo Pev is in, so is Evan Thoris.
So that looks to me, Sean, that everybody we saw pitting early is going for the 2-stop strategy. All right, so Orozco from the leader, 25.5 seconds back. It's got to be about 1.3 seconds per lap faster on average to try and catch Osgaard.
Well, that's that's a lot faster, Joe. 1.3 seconds. I mean, you could probably pull that off in one lap, maybe a couple, but can you do that consistency over the length of 19 laps to go?
That's the question he's got to answer. He gets promoted to 4th by the drivers 2 stopping behind him. So that's fewer drivers that he has to deal with ahead of him, less traffic. And this is going to be his first flying lap that we're going to get a time on to see what kind of pace Ricciardo can run. So we ride on board up towards the Parabolica. Tucks it in a little bit off the apex through the corner and over the line. What is it going to be for Ricciardo Orozco? A 25.5, not the fastest lap of the race, we should say.
No, but not a bad lap.
Last lap for Oscar, 25.9. That is not fast enough, Sean. I think Oscar's got this one.
I think you're onto something there. Benjamin Lindsay, by the way, in the pit. He's rolling, making his way out.
Now, the other question, though, is what about Harrison Finch? That might be doable because Finch has pitted about 8 laps before Orozco, so he is on the halfway strategy, the one stopper, and he's only 14 seconds ahead.
Boy, Finch is still running 125s also, Joe. I think there's a chance Orozco's just going to have to be on point to do it. Riley Preston's in.
As we expected, Preston on the same strategy as Orozco. Unfortunately, he is going to definitely get jumped because Ricciardo, out on that fresh set of tires, has been running much faster laps.
Yeah, and there he goes. Orozco is by and up into 3rd now.
You know, how about Matteo Calistani? He's been promoted with those pit stops up to 5th now. Now he's probably going to lose them. Actually, no, I say that Orozco came out ahead of him. Excuse me. And did Preston. Peeve is behind him on fresh rubber, but he's 12 seconds back, which is going to be a hard ask for him to try and run him down. So Calistani, I think, is in fact looking at this 5th position potentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so, Joe.
All right, is that all of our 2-stoppers done as well? Believe we only have 3 1-stoppers in this race: Oscar, Finch, and Calistani.
Finch is the wild card for me right now. Because we debated whether or not Orozco can catch him. Boy, Ricciardo has put down some really solid laps since he came out from that stop, and he is starting to gain on Finch here. So, if I'm Finch, I'm looking over my shoulder right now, or at least watching my relative and trying to stay focused on putting down some better laps right now. Is that last lap he put in not going to cut it, as Orozco was a full 6 to 7 tenths faster and seems to be getting faster here as the run goes on.
Yeah, I'm seeing 6 tenths faster between the two of them. So at about half a second a lap, and we've got about 15 laps. Ooh, that'll be awful tight.
Yeah.
15 or 16 laps. It'll be right on the cusp. It'll depend on when he gets that DRS, Sean.
Well, it's not going to be for a while. He's got a couple cars to get through in Ali Cuoca and who was that? Kyle Germanton in between them. That's another factor that Orozco is going to have to deal with. I expect him to move out of the way when he gets there, but he certainly doesn't get any help by way of DRS by being behind those guys.
Oh, actually, he will get DRS. Lapped cars, just like in real life, will give him DRS. So it can help if
my
if they're
bad.
polite. It's one thing they programmed in, just like the real DRS. They can help or hurt you, depending on how well the lap traffic decides to play.
Yeah, I feel a bit stupid. I didn't know that.
You are stepping in for Sam
Yeah,
today.
well, you know, I've been watching F1 for God knows how long, since I can remember, and I just never picked that up. So, my bad. But
Now, here's what's interesting. Germanton actually just overtook Finch. Germanton's a lap down. Well, why did that happen? Germanton, is he faster than Finch? I guess Germanton, because he just took the two-stop strategy, and Finch is on the one-stop strategy, he's faster than him.
Did Finch let him go though to get a little extra speed out of parabolic here? I don't know.
That could be.
I don't think that's
true
the case.
Too. Yeah. I don't think he was thinking that far ahead. And actually, I should correct myself. Germanton sort of on a two-stop strategy. He had that extra stop because of the damage on the first lap. So technically a three-stop for Kyle Germanton. Just been a bad day for the New Jerseyan. So, as we mentioned, Sam not here today. Obviously celebrating Mother's Day today. So a very happy Mother's Day to all of our mothers out there. In fact, a very happy Mother's Day to my mother, Jan, out there back in Cincinnati. Not sure if he's watching. I'm pretty sure my dad is out there watching, so I'm hoping he will extend those regards for me.
Honey, come in the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be something like that. Yes.
Yeah. And a very happy Mother's Day to my mom, Gail, who is awaiting our meeting for lunch this afternoon. So
as we watch Tommy Osgaard, 13 seconds ahead of Finch, 24 seconds ahead of Orozco. Orozco's got Finch now to within 10.5 seconds. Ooh, wow. Finch is pushing those tires, I'd say there, Sean. Can we get an onboard of that? That was a great save. Because you are going very fast, even by that point out of Parabolica.
Yeah.
And we saw what happened to Frazier when he did not catch that same incident. Man, those are fast hands.
Yeah, watch the hands. Watch the hands.
And do we have a request from our director here for? Yes. So since we have to be the voice for our director, a happy Mother's Day to Mary. Amjad's mother, so Mary Yaman. There we go. I think I'd know the last name of our own director there.
Well, a very happy Mother's Day to Mary as well. And Joe, I'm finding out here the things you find out in the YouTube chat. Mother's Day in Spain was actually last Sunday.
Ah, do we have any Club Iberia drivers out here? No, we do not. Interesting. I didn't know it was different around the world.
I'm learning all kinds of stuff this
I was just gonna say the things we learned here on the Global SimRacing Channel. We're very cultured. We try to be. Watching Riley Preston here sitting in fourth, the Australian driver, currently on that two-stop strategy. Riding behind, about 5 seconds behind Orozco. I think that two laps later stop was really the wrong call for Riley here. That cost him so much time, and these two have been so close in lap time, Sean, that I don't see him catching him unless Orozco makes some major mistakes.
Well, and that's it. Orozco's going to have to make a pretty sizable mistake here in order to be caught by Riley Preston. Now, Preston... he's been awful good himself, Joe, and it's I don't know. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's going to be tough. We're down to now just over 12 laps left. And his gains are going to need to be significant if he wants to get under the wing of Orozco at this point.
Well, we saw it at Montreal a couple rounds ago that Ricciardo tried a bit of an alternate strategy to see if he could take the win because he shot into first off the line. And really almost the same deal here. He got a great jump off the line, got into first, and he's trying a bit of a different strategy. And unfortunately, we're seeing almost the same results here, Sean, that it's just not working out for Ricciardo, because I don't think he's going to be getting the win, at least at this point, unless we see something major happen to Oscar. And now it's even questionable on whether or not he can get Finch for second place. So yeah, Ricciardo's weakness, to me, seems to be strategy.
Yeah, Joe, it's funny because just, 2 laps ago, I was speculating whether or not he really had a chance to catch Finch, and it looked like he might, but things seem to have really leveled out now, just a couple laps later. Yeah. So I don't think that's going to happen unless Finch, of course, has a major bobble here, and certainly that can happen, but I got to imagine Finch has got the bit in his teeth right now and just pushing as hard as he can to make sure he stays in front of Orozco.
No doubt about that. But boy, Tommy Osgard got the strategy right back in Canada, and he's looking like he's going to get the strategy right again here in Italy. As the laps wind down, going to be 11 to go this time across the line.
Well, we did get some intel via the YouTube chat that Tommy had a really big day yesterday here. So it seems like he may have been dialed in and ready to take this one too.
Certainly seems to be the case. No surprise that someone on the VRS Coanda team is able to get that strategy right. Boy, some incredible minds and incredible talent on that team, Sean, that really pool their resources. And you can see the results out there with what is right now a 15-second lead over second place.
Ouch.
Yeah.
We call that being spanked.
Yep. I mean, just about the same deal as what we're seeing in the World Championship Series, as Coanda has really been on a tear for a number of years, we should say, if anything.
Okay, another Mother's Day update for you. More info about Mother's Day. It was actually in March in the United Kingdom.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, I guess Sam's family, being British, they stick with the American celebration.
Yeah, they're British American. Remember that.
Yes. So always amuses me when people are surprised at Sam's knowledge of American racing. He's been here since he was 13, guys.
And one of the best oval guys we got. So there you go.
Yeah. All right, Benjamin Lindsay out here working his way around. Has had a good run. He's had a good gain. He started 11th. He's sitting in 8th. And the good news for him is the next car back, Stefan Herman, on older tires. Only 2 laps older, but regardless, it looks like he is not going to be under threat, and Stefan is actually a long ways back. Again, 100% length race. Drivers really had to do their prep for this one. They only have a few of those throughout the season. They tend to run, I believe it's about 75% distance on the regular races here in the official racing for the iRacing Series, iRacing Grand Prix Series. Osgard, as you can see, still our leader. An update between second and third. Finch and Orozco, 6.8 seconds. I think it was close to that not long ago. Let me see the lap times. 26 flat, 26.1 for Orozco. Finch, 26.8, 26.7. So he is still gaining. Still reeling him in.
Little bit at a time. Baby steps, baby steps.
And it is still just at about half a second a lap, we should say. So it's staying consistent here. Let's see it, 9 laps to go, half a second per lap, 6 seconds. It is still on course to being very, very tight. You know, we talked about Calistani looking like he could get a 5th place. Well, Peo Pev is within 2.2 seconds now, and he is on 8-lap fresher tires. Pev was looking, he was the one challenging for the win with Harrison Finch, the first one we covered here this season at Spa. He's trying to get himself just a top 5 here today.
Well, you know, Pev, maybe his strategy call, it may work out for him here to put himself in the top 5. He is definitely, he's about a second faster than Calistani with 8.5 laps to go. Jeez, and it's continuing to fall. I like his chances here.
The disappointing thing for Pev is he started in 4th on the 2nd row. Remember, he had that long first stop, we believe, with some damage needing to be repaired. And that's going to mean that even if he gets Calistani, it's a long ways back from Preston, unless one of the drivers up ahead has a shunt. Unfortunately, it's going to be a net loss for Pev at the end of the day today. Continuing to gain. It's now down to 1.5 seconds. I think within the next lap, we're going to see Pev get within that DRS range.
Boy, he just misses out here in Parabolic. I mean, he just misses out. He'll have to wait.
He's got 8 laps. I think this is, time is on the side of Peo Pev. An update on the battle for second. Now down to 5.3 between Orozco and Finch. We have seen slight mistakes out of Harrison, though. We saw that big moment in Parabolica a few laps ago.
Joe, I could see it coming right down to Parabolica, the last DRS zone, last lap. Orozco finally gets there. It would be a storybook ending, of course, for what's been a challenging race for everyone involved, but it's starting to look that way with 7 laps to go this time around.
Well, DRS has opened for Pev now as he got it down into Ascari, and what was just about 1.5 seconds 1 lap ago is now half a second. Pev can see Calistani. He's rocking up to the gearbox as we hop on board with Peo. Is he close enough? Maybe he could have a go up towards Retafilo. He's getting himself into the tire tracks. Calistani's not going defensive. I think he's going to be a little bit too far back for this one here. Look at him gain under braking. Wow. So put yourself in Pev's shoes here, Sean. You've already had some problems. You've been put on the back foot.
Yep.
Do you go on the attack or do you wait? Well,
I'm going to pass him right now.
Yeah. Doesn't even wait. And Calistani doesn't fight it at all, we should mention. He's just going to settle for 6th.
Well, or he's going to wait for his opportunity to take it back. But
I don't think he can get it back here.
I think what we've got is Pev is just better right now. The pace is better, and yeah, we're seeing it on screen. He's starting to pull away from him here.
Yeah, that was a done deal as soon as he caught him. I knew that Calistani really wouldn't have anything for him. No surprise, though, that Calistani took the long route on the pit strategy, known for trying to do one-stoppers and no-stoppers. So that leaves us with a fight for second. Orozco now down to 4 seconds on 6 laps to go. Last lap for Orozco, 26.1. Boy, he's been consistent with those. Finch a 27 flat, and he has been just as consistent within. Wow, the last 3 laps, listen to this, Sean, for Harrison Finch, 27.08, 27.08, and oh, here he had an anomaly, 27.07.
Yeah.
Boy, that is incredible consistency.
It really is. I can't imagine even pulling that off myself. I mean, it takes extreme focus to do that. And you know what? It takes knowing the track, knowing your line, where you're comfortable to hit those marks so consistently. Just amazing.
Really, I'm proud of myself when I hit back-to-back laps within a 1/10 of each other, but 3 in a row within 100th. Let's see what he does this time by Harrison Finch as he crosses the line. A little bit faster, 26.9. He's trying to pick it up. And Ricardo, a 26.7. Ricardo slow that lap. The tires now starting to go off a little bit for Orozco. Five laps to go now.
5 laps to go, and he's closer than he's ever been. It's, what, 3.7 seconds now? To Finch. It's still closing.
He can't do more laps like that last one. He's got to get back down to those 26.1s, 25.9s. Ricardo's running out of time. Ooh, and he's pushing. We didn't see it on screen as we looked at Tommy here, but Ricardo had just the slightest of bobbles as he got to the power coming out of the second Lesmo. I think he's trying to squeeze everything he can out of this orange. Well, we looked at Tommy Osgard. He's got 18 seconds over Finch. It was 15 seconds not long ago. He's continued to extend that gap. 21 between himself and the first car on the 2-stop strategy. That is Orozco. That is a pretty solid answer, Sean, on which is the fastest strategy today.
Tommy's just been really, really good. I talked about it before, and then us getting some more. He had a big day yesterday. He was ready when he showed up. Obviously, his performance yesterday certainly helped getting him ready for this one. He's probably running the same strategy he did then, and it's obviously worked very, very well for him today. But the black stripe driver has proven so far to be the class of the field here at Monza, and he only has 3.5 laps to seal the deal.
Well, Sean, I have bad news for those who are hoping for some excitement at the end of the race. The second lap in a row for Orozco was a 26.7, another slow one, and Finch last time a 27 flat. That's only 0.3 faster. That's just not fast enough here at the end. I'm starting to wonder if Orozco's hitting a wall, if the tires have had all the good taken out of them. We'll find out here because he's coming to cross the line here in just a few hundred feet. Finch last lap, 27.5, getting faster. Orozco, a 26.8, getting slower.
Joe, the gap, though, now down to 2.7. It was 2.9 there on the screen. Oh, boy.
Excuse me, no, Finch was slower last lap. I was thinking differently. That was half a second slower. So that did help Orozco that time by. Could Finch also be hitting that cliff that we mentioned? Ooh, this is getting interesting. Well, I thought that maybe it was going to be a done deal for Harrison.
And you know what? Unless, and I wouldn't put it past Harrison to try and create a little bit of drama here at the end. So,
Harrison, of course, as you saw in the lap guide, helps work with us a little bit here on GSRC by providing some help with the with driving this very complicated car as we come to 2 laps to go. Penultimate lap this time by for Finch, 27.7, still slower for him. Orozco, 26.6, a little bit faster for him. 1.8. If he can be 8 tenths faster, and that's not going to help. We saw on screen had a bobble out of Retafilio. If he can be 8 tenths faster, Sean, that'll put him within DRS range for 1 single lap. That's 2 tries.
yeah, but that bobble might have been the bobble to end all bobbles. I got to be honest with you. He didn't need that. He needed perfection on this lap, and that is not going to help. In fact, it looks like we're back to what, 1.6?
Well, it was 1.8 at the start of the lap. So he's 2 tenths faster, and at 1.3 now. It's coming down. Oh, he's only going to get very few opportunities. We'll come back to that in a moment, but right now, white flag is coming out for Tommy Osgaard. 1 stop is going to do the trick for the Scandinavian as he comes up to take 1 more lap. And I believe this will be victory number 3 this season for him. At least on the broadcast races here around Curva Grande. Now, the bad news for Ricardo is he did not get DRS down the front stretch, which means he'll have 1 time with DRS.
Yep. And he's got it to a second.
Oh, this is going to be oh so tight. Working his way up through Della Rosa. He's got to get it under that 1 second mark. Now it's finally dipped underneath. He's got to get closer than that to have a go, though. Keeping an eye on our leader as we watch these two. This is the DRS zone. I think he's just a little bit too far back, Sean. Too little, too late. Oh, so close. And now Tommy Osgaard coming around the Parabolica is going to take another win to help himself in the official championship here. Osgaard takes the win in Italy.
Great run by Tommy Osgaard today. Harrison Finch still holding down second in the Parabolica.
He's got to get this done, though. He can't make a mistake out of this corner. And I think he's got it nice and smooth onto the power. Harrison Finch, a beautiful controlled drive to take 2nd place over a charging Ricardo Orozco, who finishes 3rd.
Riley Preston going to roll across in 4th.
Disappointment after starting on the pole.
Peo Pev is going to have a little bit of disappointment himself. Will salvage a 5th place run, Joe.
Rest of the field. Oh, is this going to be close between Calistani and Lathoris? Lathoris is on fresher tires, but he's a little too far back. And so I think Calistani is going to solidify that 6th place. Lathoris into 7th. The last car in the lead lap is Benjamin Lindsay. So with that, we're going to take a break here at the Global SimRacing Channel. We'll come back with the official results as well as driver interviews. And stick around because on screen you're going to see all the upcoming races here on the GSRC. Welcome back to Monza. We just watched round 9 in the iRacing Grand Prix Series official racing here on iRacing. Tommy Osgaard gets another one here on the broadcasted races. Look at that gap, though, 19 seconds over Harrison Finch. And then we have our first driver to attempt a two-stop strategy, just did not work out. Ricardo was within a second of Harry at the line, and it was just not enough. He'll take a podium at least for consolidation. Riley Preston gets himself a 4th place. He started from the pole. I'm sure he's not going to be happy with that one, though. Pev finishing with 5th today after having to come back from some damage. And then 6th place, Sean, Matteo Calistani holding off a charging Evan Lathoris at the end.
Yeah, and Lathoris going to wind up with that 7th place spot, and then they'll go back to Benjamin Lindsay, who will finish 8th today. That's up 3 from where he started. Nicholas Rasmussen, who has checked in and reported that he had some serious GPU problems there at the end of that race. Very low frames, about 5 per second. That's not good. So congratulations to him for hanging on. Stefan Herman, 10th place. Kyle Germanton will finish 11th today. Ali Quokka, 12th, and a 13th place run for Bill Frazier.
Well, while we are still waiting on a few drivers to come in, we have caught up with the spotter for our 2nd place driver, Harrison Finch. Joseph Ringrose has joined us, and excuse me, was I told Pev on this one? For Pev, excuse me, for Peo Pev. Joseph, Peo seemed to really be a little bit under the gun with that damage. He had good pace, so it seemed like he was okay, but boy, that pit stop really bit you guys.
Yeah, overall, it was a decent race by our guys, Evan included. It was pretty tough with the damage, of course, and we went with a 2-stop strategy today. We thought that was the best option with the tyre wear and whatever. But yeah, we didn't race last week at Motegi. We used it as a drop round. So the preparation has been quite big for this race. And P5 and P7, especially with, 3 World Championship drivers, is a good result to take away.
Yeah, incredible strength of field up here as well. That 2-stop strategy, it seemed like it wasn't quite the way to go. Did you guys switch to that because of the damage, just to try and get away from that?
I think it was because Peo and Evan have been practicing pretty much together for the majority. So I think that was something that they planned between themselves, and they stopped their 2nd time on the same lap and just sort of went from there. Looks like the 1 stop was the way to go today, but that's just how it went. P5, P7 is not all that bad. Kevin Fortman got a podium and down in split 2. So nice. Overall, it's a good weekend for us overall.
Yeah, it's great. Glad to see you guys getting great results in both races. And, hopefully you'll have a little bit better luck and stay away from the damage next week. Yep,
we'll see you next time.
All right, Joseph Ringrose helping out with 5th place finisher Peo Pev. We do have our winner ready to talk to us. Tommy Osgaard here with Sean Ambrose after he's put down the champagne.
Tommy, congratulations on the win. You chose the 1-stop strategy, and we understand you had a big day yesterday. Did you run the same strategy you did yesterday?
I was actually planning on a 2-stop because it was quite a bit harder today than yesterday. But then I made so many mistakes in this race. In the first stint, I outbraked myself many times and collided with Ricardo into turn 1 at 1 lap as well. So apologize for that. But I saw that I knew they were going to do a 2-stop. At least that's what I thought. So I saw I was a lot quicker, but I was struggling to get by because of the DRS train. So I decided to just try to go for that 1-stop again, even though since I've been locking off my tires a lot, I knew I would struggle at the end. But yeah, it all came together in that second stint, really, and the car felt really good there. Just had to try to keep it on the track at the end of that first stint because that was very sketchy.
Well, now qualifying didn't quite work out for you. What happened in qualifying?
I was a bit too overconfident, I think. I cancelled my first lap, and then on the second lap, I outbraked myself into turn 1, lost 1 second, or 1.1, and yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, so when that happens, okay, and you've given up on your attempt at qualifying, you're disappointed. How do you maintain the focus to come back and put in the kind of drive you did to win this thing?
Well, I knew I had great race pace, so I just wanted to try to gain as many positions in the first opening laps, because that would be crucial. I didn't want large gaps to open up, but I felt very confident. I had some great pace yesterday, so I knew if I just carried that over today, I would be able to catch those up front.
Well, Tommy, great drive today. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Anybody you'd like to thank real quick?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the entire team, Coanda, and our sponsors, and also my workplace, Ducky, for supporting me.
All right, Tommy, then we will see you next week, my friend. Thanks again, and have a good week.
Thanks, guys. You too. See ya.
All right, Joe, that was our big winner, Tommy Østergaard, and you've caught up with Harrison Finch real quick.
Second place finisher today. And Harrison, I know my director is going to hate me for this one, but you set 3 laps in a row at the end within 100th of one another. You're a wizard, Harry.
I don't really know what to say to that.
Neither do I, Harrison.
Regardless, let's talk about that end of the race. I have to imagine that you saw Ricardo coming. You knew that he was faster than you on fresher tires. What do you do to calm yourself down in the cockpit and just rifle off those consistent laps to hold him at bay?
I just didn't look at the relative. I turned it off for the rest of the race, so I just drove my own race. And when I could actually see him in the mirror, I just started pushing a little bit more at the end just to make sure.
Well, it worked out for you, and you managed a second place. Now, Tommy was saying that he figured that the 2-stop strategy would be better and switch to the 1-stop. Well, what about you? Did you plan the 1-stop from the start, or was that a late choice from you?
I just decided I wanted to drive on my own instead of in that train because I didn't like it. I felt like I was going to make a mistake and hit someone or something, so I just decided to do the 1-stop. So I'd be alone for the rest of the race.
And speaking of mistakes, you had quite a moment where you were going for the lead with Preston down into Rettifilio into that first chicane and outbraked yourself. Did you think that it was over at that point?
I entered the corner with a lot more speed than I previously had because I was using the push to pass and DRS. I'd braked to the normal point, and then obviously I should have braked earlier. I just walked up and went straight on, but I knew luckily there's a runoff area, so I'd just get a slow down penalty. That was it.
Yeah, and you still managed to come away with a podium. Nicely done. And thank you not only for an exciting race today, but for all your help with the lap guides this season.
It's all right. You put on a good show, so it's only right that I help out.
All right. Well, that was Harrison Finch, our second place finisher. And as I endure the groans of my team behind the scenes, I'm going to close up today. A big thank you to the iRacing Grand Prix Series community. They have donators. This is a crowd-funded broadcast. And so we want to give a huge thank you to those donators there you see up on the screen, all of our supporters who helped make this possible. Thank you to Jan Brzezina especially as well, who kind of organized that effort. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and our hardware for our broadcasts listed here on your screen. Additional thanks go out to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who provide our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of their great work. Thanks to the team today, Sean, Amjad, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also check out our social media channels, Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Don't forget, we also have that big red subscribe button on our YouTube page. Head on over there, hit that, and make sure that you don't miss a single broadcast here on the GSRC. The next race going to a very different track, very technical track, Circuit of the Americas. That'll be Sunday, May 20th at 10 a.m. Eastern. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. However, until next time, race clean, race hard. See you on the track.